There are some places on the world map that may be small in size, yet their importance is enormous. One such place is the Strait of Hormuz. It's a narrow sea passage on which a large part of the world's energy security depends. This small waterway is so important that if any conflict begins here, its effects are felt across the global economy, energy markets, and international politics. And that is exactly what is happening right now. Due to the ongoing tensions in the Middle East involving Iran, Israel, and the United States, the Strait of Hormuz has once again become a topic of global discussion. In today's episode of World Frontier, we will explore why the Strait of Hormuz is so important and why this small waterway repeatedly becomes the center of major international tensions. The Strait of Hormuz is a narrow sea passage located between the Persian Gulf and the Gulf of Oman. To the north lies Iran, and to the south are Oman and the United Arab Emirates. What is most surprising is that the narrowest part of this strait is only about 33 kilometers wide, yet hundreds of oil tankers pass through this small route every single day. Many Middle Eastern countries, such as Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Iraq, and Qatar, rely on this strait to export their oil and gas to global markets. Nearly 20% of the world's oil transported by sea passes through this route. That is why many experts call it the most important energy corridor of the global economy. If this route were ever to be closed, the global oil supply could suddenly decrease and oil prices could rise rapidly around the world. Currently, the conflict involving the United States, Israel, and Iran has once again brought attention to the security of this waterway. In the past, Iran had threatened to close the Strait of Hormuz in response to Western pressure. But in 2026, tensions in the Middle East have escalated once again. Following military strikes by Israel and the United States, Iran has issued counter-threats and has reportedly closed the Strait of Hormuz. After this announcement, the world's most important oil transportation route has effectively become disrupted. As a result of this situation, many oil tankers have stopped traveling through the strait, while others are waiting at a safe distance. Analysts estimate that ship traffic through this route has decreased by nearly 70%. Because of this disruption, global oil prices have continued to rise, and many countries are now facing the risk of an energy crisis. The international benchmark oil price, Brent crude, has already exceeded $79 per barrel. Compared with the first day of the attacks on February 28th, this represents an increase of about 9%. New data also shows that the cost of chartering supertankers to transport Middle Eastern oil to China has doubled compared to the previous week, reaching more than $400,000 per day, which is believed to be the highest level so far. According to information from the International Atomic Energy Agency, nearly 82% of the oil and energy passing through the Strait of Hormuz is destined for Asian countries. China, India, Japan, and South Korea together import nearly 70% of the oil and condensate transported through this strait. As a result, these countries would suffer the most if the supply were disrupted. In this situation, many analysts believe that the closure of the Strait of Hormuz could harm Arab and Asian countries even more than the United States or European powers that are politically aligned with Israel in the current conflict. On the other hand, the Strait of Hormuz is not just a sea route, it's also a strategic choke point. This means it's a narrow location through which an enormous amount of global trade passes. If any country were able to control this route, it could significantly influence global energy markets. For this reason, the area is often under heavy military surveillance, particularly by the United States Navy and regional naval forces. Many countries are now attempting to develop alternative energy pipelines and new trade routes. Nevertheless, the reality is that for many years to come, the Strait of Hormuz will remain one of the most important energy routes in the world. Because when it comes to transporting such massive amounts of oil, there are very few sea routes on Earth that can match its efficiency. Just a few kilometers wide, yet its impact reaches across the entire world. The Strait of Hormuz is not just a geographical location, it's a central point of global politics, energy security, and international economics. That is why many experts say this narrow passage is not simply a shipping route, it's one of the main arteries of the global economy. How do you think the closure of the Strait of Hormuz could affect your country? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section.